Before I get started, I just want to say that if you or someone you love or know is in crisis, please consider calling the PEI Helpline at 1-800-218-2885. Alternatively, you could call the CMHA peer support number at 902-628-3666. So today on the podcast, we have a friend of mine. Her name is Sarah Gallant, and she's from Stratford, PEI. She's a youth engagement activator at Taking It Global, and when she's not working in her spare time, she enjoys writing, yoga, reading, and hiking. Hi, Sarah.
Hi.
Thanks for being on the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
So I know what your role entails at Taking It Global, but for our listeners who are perhaps unfamiliar with your work, can you tell us what it is that you do as your job there?
Yeah, so my role kind of entails recruiting youth to do community service or community-based projects. So I kind of look for youth who might be interested in doing a project or help them kind of come up with an idea if they don't have an idea but they want to do a project. And then Taking It Global and the Government of Canada provides funding for the youth to do their project, so they can get grants through Taking It Global for $250, $750, up to $1,500 to do their community service project. And then I also provide support for them as well. So if they're struggling with anything while they're doing their project, or if they need help with applying for the grant, or anything along the way of the project, I provide support for them and help them through it. So that's kind of a little summary of what I do.
That's awesome. If they want to do a project, they don't have an idea, how do you come up with one together? Do you kind of look into what they're passionate about, that kind of?
Yeah, we kind of tailor it to whatever they're passionate about, or if they have a particular if they have something that they're really good at, a particular talent or something, I would try to help them develop a project around that.
Yeah.
So it's really individualized to the youth, and then we also help the youth recruit other people to help them, so it's not just them doing it by themselves. So
right.
They would have a team of support to help them out with it. And then we also have resources on Taking It Global on our website that they can check out, and it's kind of helping youth to come up with what their kind of help them identify what their strengths are, and maybe what their community needs. Because sometimes if you see something that makes you mad or angry about your community, that's kind of maybe a good time to take action on that. So I kind of encourage youth to think about what might your community need, or what might it benefit from, and how could you address that.
Yeah.
I think it's really empowering for youth to know that they can make a difference. They don't have to just leave it up to adults in the community or the government. They can actually do something themselves and make a big difference.
That's great. And that taking issues and then going from that point, that's what, if they're frustrated with something, you kind of mentioned if they're frustrated with something in their community, the way things are going, then they can feel they can take action and do a project.
Yeah. And that's sometimes the hardest part. You're identifying it, but actually taking the action and doing it is I find a lot of youth are they have the great ideas, but it's actually taking the action is the hard part for a lot of people, and you have to make the time to do it, and you actually have to confront the issue. So that's kind of a challenge, but pushing yourself out of your comfort zone is something that I always try to promote to the youth, and something that I try to do. So that's the only way that change is going to happen.
Right.
So,
True.
It's amazing to see all the youth that actually are doing things and taking action on issues. But there's definitely some there's always struggles that youth have, but there's always also supports that they can access to.
And as someone who is in a leadership role in our community through your job, what would you say to those who are perhaps hesitant to get involved in their community And in your opinion, what are the benefits of community involvement?
If they're hesitant to get involved, I would say like this grant is a really good way to like start getting involved. And then also part of my role is like after their project is done, I can help them like find a volunteer organization if they want to continue to volunteer in the community. So it doesn't just like end after their project, like they can still keep going and like giving back. But yeah, I think I would say start with like a small grant and just kind of like figure out, even like $250, you can do a lot with a grant like that, of that size, and make a big difference in the community. So I would say just start with a grant, like just apply. It's really easy to apply. Like it normally takes people like 10 minutes to fill out the application that we have. It's up on our website, risingyouth.ca, and they can just go on there and fill it out. And like if I get the application, I notice that like there's something that's missing or something that we might need, that if it doesn't quite fit the requirements, I would just like get in touch with the youth and like tell them what we need. So it's really accessible. Like it's not a typical grant that like it would be hard to get, or you're not really sure if you're going to get like the full amount.
Yeah.
And you also like hear back from us really quickly. Like we would tell you if you're accepted or not, and pretty much everybody is accepted that has applied so far from PEI, because I've been able to work with them. So it's like, I think it's a good way to start.
For sure.
And then if not, I would just say like look for an organization to volunteer with.
Yeah.
Because there's always volunteer organizations that are looking for people, and
that's true.
even just like once a month, like if you just dedicate like once a month, like for an hour or something, to a volunteer organization, like it benefits the community, but it also benefits you as a person.
Yeah, big time. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
I want to start volunteering. I was thinking of that recently. I was at my friend's performance at a nursing home, and I just thought like this is such a special like place, and I think I could volunteer here perhaps.
Yeah.
It's like watching the performance of my friend's band playing music for the people that live there was just like, I don't know, I was crying. It was so sweet, and I was like, I really want to volunteer. I just want to make a difference. Feel good about something like that. Like just seeing them doing something so nice for the people, it was pretty heartwarming.
That's so nice. And it's like, it also like gets us away from technology too, like depending on what you're doing. But like I find it sometimes hard to get off of like social media and stuff, so it's like it's a good break from that, and just to feel more connected to your community too. Like
I was just gonna say that, like connection with people.
Yeah, like it, and you're building relationships with people. Like even if it's just one person, like you're having an impact on that person.
Yeah.
So it's like it's priceless, really. Like
yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
It's hard to like make the time, and sometimes you don't want to go and do it, but once you're there and like afterwards, you just feel like so good about it. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
On a more personal note, what do you think it is about community service work that is so rewarding and fulfilling?
I would say just like kind of like what I mentioned, like building relationships.
Yeah, we kind of touched on that.
Yeah, like I volunteer a couple of places myself, and like when I can see like just a little bit of an impact that I'm having, like even if it's just a small thing, I find it really rewarding personally.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like just